Welcome to the Infamous.
Any of us when we were younger had any early musical explorations? I know obviously Greg is a DJ now and he does all that, but I'm talking about when we were kids. You know, because I look at these people who play instruments and they're just amazing. I see Brent has a guitar behind him right now with an amp. And I know you've been playing it of late, but that's a recent development, you know, within the last, I don't know, couple of years.
Yeah.
I was just curious if any of us had potential when you were like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Because I often say, why didn't I freaking just do it? Like, you know, take piano lessons, take guitar lessons, learn how to play an instrument, do it. You know, I actually had a legit kid-sized drum set when I was like 8 or 9. It was blue marble. I don't even know what you call it, but it was legit. Like, I mean, it was a kid size, but it was a legit drum. Yeah, it was real. Yeah, it was real metal cymbals.
Yeah.
And I remember it was in my room, and I was playing the drums. And like a week later, I was outside playing the drums because my mom kicked me out of the house. I'm serious. She kicked me out of the house. She was like, "Okay, this is not happening. You're not playing this drums." And I never got any good, but part of me is like, man, why didn't I like just keep that up? I could be multi-talented right now. I could be a freaking, you know.
Yeah.
Because I do think I'm musical at heart. You know, I see it in my video editing that I'm musical. Like I like a beat. Musical regrets from the past.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I wish.
Your dad's musical.
And that was the weird thing in our relationship.
Yeah.
I remember wanting to learn like piano, and he just wouldn't teach me.
Really?
Or, you know, let me explore that avenue. So yeah. And then when I was a teenager, I wanted to learn to play guitar, but rock and roll was evil. So that was kind of frowned upon.
So you blame your parents?
Yeah. Until
I blame my parents for. I have a lot of regrets tied to my dad as well. But you know, when I was in church as a kid, there was choir, so everyone sang, and you know, all church members sing all the songs anyway. But like all the ones who really love the Lord, they supposed to go to the choir.
And on the worship team.
Yeah, well, black people call it the choir. You know, I didn't have a worship team until I started going to a different type of church. But I will say that the choir director could play every instrument, and there was a drummer there. And so, yeah, I had a drum lesson when I was very young. I didn't have a way to keep it up. I didn't have drums, and you could only do drums at the church. And it just meant like more time at the church.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, my drumming fell off. And then when I was y'all know, I used to be a youth pastor.
Yeah.
And they brought me there to kind of youthen up the church and bring us into this era of moving away from hymnals into like contemporary worship stuff. Even though I was not a worship leader, because of my love for music and having done at that time, I was at the very beginning of music. So I had to start there was a lady in the church who was giving keyboard and piano lessons. So I met with her once a week, and she taught me. I still have the book somewhere here. I had to learn how to read music and play these little keyboard things, but I definitely fell off. I would sleep in. I'd keep snoozing. We're talking about snoozing.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
I started missing, and then she finally said, "Hey, look, I can't keep showing up if you're going to miss, so we need to cut it." And I was so ashamed that I left ministry.
My parents bought me a keyboard. And I don't think I've told anybody this other than my wife. And obviously my family knows this because they were around for it and had to put up with it. But they bought me a keyboard. This was a few years after the drum set. The drum set was a complete failure. My mom was like, it's staying outside. It got damaged by the rain and it was ruined. But I must have been about 12, maybe. Probably went into 13. I, for a brief moment, pursued a career in Christian rap.
Oh, are you gonna play something for us?
I unfortunately do not
Yes.
have. It's on cassette tapes, though. I need to find them. I briefly pursued
Dude, you
Christian rap.
can't bring this up without having it.
Oh, I could bring it up. I could bring it up all day. Because here's the thing. It's
Are you
very.
gonna rap it right now?
I'm not. No, hell no, dude. It's very embarrassing for me
Yes, that's why.
because it's very embarrassing to hear it. I've played it for my wife. I found the tape a few months back, and I played it for Holly, and she was like, "Oh my God, you need to put this out there." And I'm like, "Shut up! It's horrible."
Come on, dude. Go find it. I'll wait.
No, it's bad.
I'll wait. You know where it's at because you played it for Holly.
Dude,
You brought this story up.
This was months ago. Oh, wait.
I'm going to be upset.
I want you guys to guess what my rapper name was, though. My wife calls me this all the time now that she knows this.
Big D Robi.
It's got to be like
Big
Robi.
D Robi. Big D Robi. What was it?
Is it something with Big D in it?
It is not. No. Well, D is in it. Yes.
Okay, what is it? Lay it on us.
All right.
D?
It was D-Rap. I called myself D-Rap. Because here's the thing.
Dude, we were best friends.
I know. And see, I knew.
You thought you were best friends.
Like, for real, when you started
Now
telling the story, it felt like you were about to come out. Like this, but you are. You kind of are. You're coming out as a rapper, dude.
Wait a minute.
This is at your house.
So
I never knew you were a rapper.
Dude,
I let you confess, and I wanted to make sure you got it all out before I started asking questions. Okay, so now I have some questions. Oh wait, you still have more?
Yeah, I'm still telling the story because this is how it happened. Okay, so I went to a similar church. We all went to a similar church. Yeah. It was a non-denominational church. My church actually had a worship team.
Yeah.
But every once in a while there would be musical guests they'd come and perform. Most of them were like old quartets singing gospel hymns and stuff. We actually had a rapper named E-Rock.
E-Rock.
Who came to our church.
I know E-Rock.
You know E-Rock.
Of course you do.
Not personally, but I know who he is.
You know who he is, right?
He's a legendary Christian rapper from Grapetree.
Yes. Yeah. So E-Rock came to our church and listen to the G-O-D, right? He had that song, listen to the G-O-D.
Oh, yeah, I know that song.
You know that song. Go E-Rock, go. Anyway,
E-Rock.
He was a dancer for Vanilla Ice, okay?
Yeah.
And he became a Christian rapper, and he came to my church, and I was like, again, I was 12, probably 12.
Very impressionable.
And I was super impressionable, and I was like, oh my God, I like rap. And my parents were like, no. So we bought his cassette, and then we went to the Christian bookstore, and I bought DC Talk's first rap cassette. Yeah. They had Rappin' His Word 2, not the first one, but Rappin' His Word 2, and they had all these Christian rappers. Dude, I was like hooked. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to take this keyboard that I have, and they had these preset like drum samples and stuff on it. And these little melodies you could play. You could just change the key by pressing one key. It would change the whole vibe of the music. There was even like little interlude buttons and stuff. And so, dude, I had my cassette recorder.
I think I had this.
I wrote a bunch of rap lyrics. I wrote like tons of songs, and like I was just using my cassette recorder, and I would play it all live. Like the whole thing was live, recorded on the cassette, and then I would have to do like one or two takes because I would mess up. And I did a whole album. I had like 10 songs or whatever.
Dude, 10 songs? I thought you were going to bring like one song.
No, they weren't good. Again, if I ever find this...
I bet they're so good.
Dude, I still have the lyrics written down on paper somewhere. I need to find that too.
Dude.
Look, this was...
Okay, hold on.
Okay.
This is our second podcast together. We've known each other for 30-something years, and you've been hiding this.
I told you it was big. I told you when I told him at the beginning.
Why were we talking about sleep?
Look, so you said there's 10 album, or there's 10
10
songs
songs.
on one
I
album.
believe
right?
I believe there's 10 tracks. I don't remember. I think I actually
That's
did
a
2
legit
albums.
album.
I did 1.5 albums. I think I did.
How many lyrics? Okay, so you write lyrics. You wrote these rap lyrics. What are in
But
E-Rock
look,
was your big rap inspiration?
He was my first inspiration. But then I got into DC Talk,
Yeah.
and they also influenced me. But here's the thing:
Okay.
I'm 12, so
Yeah.
it's 12-year-old me's version
Wow, I'm
of
loving this.
of an
no, I
artist.
don't. That's
I'm loving this.
no one here is worried about how old you were when this happened.
Mm-mm.
This is the fact
Yeah.
that
Not
it
at all.
happened
Yes.
Yeah.
is very fascinating. And so
This is a magical moment.
I need to, you don't have to share the entire album, although why wouldn't
Greg,
you?
Can you
Why
drop a
wouldn't
beat,
you?
Greg? Greg, drop a beat.
I need to
No,
know.
I'm-
Well,
Come on.
I just want to
Robi.
know. I just want to know, like, okay, you explained it. You like set this.
Yeah.
We got the context.
Yeah.
We
Yes.
know.
Mhm.
We're prepared for the quality of how the
Yeah.
beats
Yes.
might sound, and you did it
Yes.
all in
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
one take, all that stuff.
Yes.
But you have a rap out. You have a whole rap album.
You have a rap album, dude.
Do you know how many people in the world wish they had a rap album, not a
Yeah.
song?
Yeah.
You have like that's like a whole career.
Well,
Really?
part of me, look, when my wife heard this, and look, she loves me, so it's a very
Were
biased.
y'all
opinion.
married? Or this is
Yeah.
before?
This was after we were married.
This was like a month ago. How long ago was this?
This was a few months. No. I want to say it was not long after we moved in together because I came across the box. Here's the thing.
The
Here's how it all
box.
happened. I went to my parents' house to retrieve some stuff that was.
Yeah.
You know how you still have stuff at your
Yeah.
parents' house that when you moved out, it was kind of
It's
like,
like-
I don't need that. It was a box of cassette tapes.
Yeah.
And I thought it was full of sermons because my
Okay.
parents used to get cassette tapes
Yep, mine
of the
too.
sermon every
Yeah.
week.
Yep.
'Cause, you might want to listen to it again.
Boxes
know.
of them.
Boxes of sermons.
Yeah.
And I found this box and I'm like, wait, some of these cassettes are mine. Because I used to like just pretend I was a DJ and like play
Mhm.
songs and record it. I wanted to be a DJ back when I was a kid. Like a radio DJ, like spinning CCM all day,
Yeah.
And so I stumbled upon my rap cassette and it was in there and I'm like, I was like, oh my God. I'd forgotten I did it almost. Like
That's the sound me and Brent both made when you
Yeah.
said you have a rap
It was
album.
I want
Your
to
name
listen
is
to this.
Your name is D Rap. You have a rap persona. I love it. That's the
So,
sound we both
I
made.
mean, look, I was still going through puberty when I recorded this. So like my
Okay.
voice is like cracking and
All right, so play it. Let's play it.
I
Rap
don't
will
have-
do that
dude,
to
I
you.
don't-
It will
I don't-
pull you through puberty.
that's it.
That's what rap does. That's what hip hop
Hip hop
does.
made my balls drop. That's what happens.
Dude,
Now that's a rhyme right
look.
there.
He just freestyled right here. He just freestyled. What is happening? What
is
simulation?
happening?
This is the simulation that we're talking about. What reality is this? We
Yeah.
need to reboot the simulation.
Yeah. Well, I knew this was
All
going
of
to
a
be.
sudden, you're the blackest guy on this podcast.
That was incredibly racist and offensive, but I'm still laughing at the other stuff.
So look, I was like, this is the first one that all three of us are back. We hadn't recorded in a while. I was like, I got to bring something. I got to bring something for this episode.
Hammer, dude.
And look, my wife has been telling me to talk about this since it happened, honestly. And she's like, dude, you got to talk about that on the podcast. And I'm like, no, it's embarrassing now. It's like,
It's
I don't,
awesome.
it was a time in my life. And that's how I was as a kid. I would see a movie and I would go in my room and want to make a comic book about the movie and like continue the story, And so, and the same was with music. When I listened to music, I would like want to go and try to perform
wanna
that
do
music,
that,
even though I
yeah.
couldn't play any instruments. And so, yeah, man, I really got into rap, Christian rap in particular, for a good couple of years, and I made a 1.5 Christian rap albums. Yep.
I still feel like Come on, dude.
I don't have it. Like if I had it, I would figure out a way
You
to play it.
finally, like Greg's told embarrassing stories. I've told embarrassing stories.
Yeah.
You're there now. I hear it.
Yeah.
Are you embarrassed though?
About my albums?
You shouldn't be, dude. I bet they're awesome.
They're not. Like, look, if you consider that I was 12, then maybe
Yeah.
okay.
Like Greg said, we get it.
I should have prepared and like actually
Yeah.
had it ready to play, but I was like, okay, they're gonna be like, okay, whatever. You know, they're not gonna want to actually hear it. So
Yes,
I didn't
absolutely.
prepare it.
How would you not think that?
I'm gonna tell them this, and they're not gonna want to hear it.
Yeah.
We're just gonna move on, and we're gonna talk about sleep
Yeah.
some more.
Right.
I'm just gonna throw this. I'm just gonna throw this across, and we'll just move on. I think we'll spend like a couple seconds on it.
Yeah.
And we'll see if anyone else has anything. That's where your mind went. You need more sleep, apparently.
That's
Yeah,
it.
more sleep.
You're not thinking.
More
That's it.
clearly.
Man, I should have got more sleep because I wouldn't have talked about this. Like I didn't know.
No, it's perfect.
No, I
you
thought it
gotta
would
be vulnerable, man.
I thought it would be good. And look, it was a time in my life. I still have a love of hip hop, especially classic hip hop and
Yeah.
that whole genre. And it's like I am not the biggest fan of modern hip hop, and you know, I can still go back and even listen to some of the old Christian stuff that I was like, man, this is kind of cool. You know, I went through the phase. I wanted to be a rapper, and
Dang.
and I
That was
did
a good
it.
era to do it too.
I did it. It was a great era. I mean,
Yeah.
even some of the CCM back then was starting to get out of the funk of the old 80s vibe.
Mhm.
And, you know, it had,
Yeah.
they were actually trying to do some stuff, you know, specifically DC Talk and some of those other groups. That's a thing I did. And
That's awesome.
it's out there. And one day I'll share it. Maybe.
Sorry, so this is to be continued.
To be continued. Yeah. We'll
so
do.
you have a week. You have a week
I have
to
a
go
week
find it.
to, well,
Dude,
what I
you
would
need to-
really like to do is digitize the cassette.
Digitize it. and
Just so I
update it.
have it, because, you know, cassettes can get messed up and, you know,
Yeah.
ruined.
But keep the original and then like maybe, you know, remix one of the songs.
Right. Well, I
Like,
don't know.
for
I don't know
real.
about that. I don't know if they were
For-
worth
dude.
remixing.
Come on.
Okay, so I do know this. Like some of my songs were just like riffs about other songs that I had heard, and I just kind of
Yeah.
changed the lyrics, but I was still trying to go for the same vibe. I know I had a song called "Lean Mean Demon Slashing Devil Fighter."
Nice.
That's the only one that's popping in my head right now. But I had a bunch of songs, but that's the one that's popping in my head right now.
All right. Let's
Yeah.
do it.
No, I
No
don't-
lyrics are popping in your head.
No,
I-
no lyrics.
they're
I mean, that
Oh,
was the
okay.
chorus. I'm a lean, mean, demon slashing devil fighter. That was the chorus. You
Oh.
know,
What kind of tempo?
I don't remember, man. It was, you know, one of those presets on the keyboard. I was just,
Okay.
just pressing the preset. It's like, ooh, this one's gonna be samba. You know, this one's gonna
Yeah.
be, you know.
Salsa.
I think I had that exact keyboard.
You
you're
probably
talking
did. It
about.
was at the orange
Yeah,
octagon. Was it
Casio or-
octagons? It had little orange drum pads on it.
yeah.
And what you
I
could,
think
yeah, one was a snare, one was a bass drum, and then there were two cymbals, and you could kind of play the pads.
I remember the samba preset and the bossa nova. It
Yes,
was like where
there was a bossa
I
nova.
learned those terms from that keyboard.
Yes.
Like I remember. It's like, oh, what
Yeah,
is
they had-
that?
Yeah, they had a rock one, obviously, and when you'd press the button, it would actually play a preset melody song. And so some of the songs were that, where it was a preset melody, and then you could change the key, you could change the note
Yeah.
of the melody. And so, and then, you know, it was kind of cool. It made it seem like you could play music without knowing how to play music. So
You could speed it up and slow it down too,
yep,
right?
you could speed it up and slow
Yeah.
it down as well. Yep. Yeah, it was actually quite impressive. That's what was crazy to me, is that back then that was the technology I had.
Mhm.
And I think, man, if I grew up and I was a kid now,
Oh, you do some crazy stuff.
with the availability of like technology, what you
Yeah.
can do, like you can just speak into your phone into an app and it'll make your whistle sound like an orchestra, like the same note. You can just whistle and it turns it into an orchestral, like,
Mhm.
and I'm like, dude, I could have done, it could have been insane. You know,
Yeah, you were good at whistling.
I'm still good at whistling. It's another one of my untapped talents. Crazy whistler. Yeah.
Hey, Robi.
So nobody else has any
Not
musical
any
surprises
story
like this.
that. Gee whiz.
No surprises. Just, I think most people that I meet today would be surprised to know that I used to sing and like do musical theater in my theater days. That was all we did was
I don't think I've ever heard you
plays
sing
and
because
stuff.
you don't sing in your
Well, I
your
don't sing.
songs.
I don't. Yeah, it's not really what I do. But I did
Okay.
it then to get parts in plays. But it wasn't. I'm
Right.
not a lead or
But you can
anything
hold a
like
note. You
that.
can hold a note. I mean, I was in choir when I was at Homer Christian. I was in choir. Well, you weren't in choir, were you?
I was.
You were too?
Yeah.
Were we all in choir?
I was in church choir, not like the real, like the
Okay.
high school choir.
Well, it was a first year choir.
But
Yeah, it wasn't
when
like
I was young.
It wasn't even a real high school.
well,
like
we have a diploma.
The choir
I
was
think it
one row of people.
Yeah, we actually went to festival though, and I think we did pretty well for a first year choir. I think we actually
Well, I wasn't part of that team.
Oh, okay, so you didn't.
I don't know what I'm talking about. Maybe I'm talking about church stuff.
You might be thinking about church because me and James and Zach were in that choir.
Definitely wasn't a part of that.
Okay, I thought you were in advanced math because it was the option. The school had no electives, but that one year, our senior year, they said, "Hey, we're going to have an elective. You can either take advanced math or you can be in the choir." And I was like, "Oh,
Duh, choir."
I was like, well, here's the thing. I was an introvert, so I'm like, I don't know if I want to sing in front of people,
yeah.
even in a group.
Yeah.
And I think that's another reason why I never tell people that I was D-rap and I made an album and stuff, and I say an album. I recorded it on a cassette,
Right.
loosely using the term album.
We understand.
But as an introvert, you don't want to put yourself out there, especially when you're like not really proud of the work. It's like, okay, I was a kid.
So here lies the problem, though.
Yeah.
Until we hear it, it doesn't exist, like we said. So you're full of shit until you play it.
Yeah, the simulation.
Bring it into reality.
Simulation theory says it does not exist until you actually hear it.
Yeah.
Greg's searching for it online. He's trying to see if
cat. That's what it is. Look up that.
Look, no, now that we're talking about the simulation, I was really thinking about like, what would it mean to you to have the album readily available? Like, who would you show it to? And if you did update the songs, would you be more proud of it? Would you re-record it? Do you still have, hold on, as an adult, do you still have any inklings, or do you rap along to your favorite rappers? Do you ever write? Do you ever come up with lines?
Not really. I'm still a musical person, and I mean, just for example, the last thing I did that might even be remotely musical was the theme song for the other podcast I do with Holly, Top 10 Video. We were trying to come up with an intro song for it, and she had a melody that she was singing, and I was like, well, what if it's this? And then I sang an alternate version of it. It's like Top 10 Video. And like I just did that, and then I had her sing it and do some harmonies with it, and she recorded it. And so technically I kind of wrote that little jingle, so I guess that means I'm still kind of musical. But
you got it.
For the music, it's just a royalty-free beat that I found, and I just kind of overlaid her vocals on top of that. So, but yeah, as to writing songs or anything like that, like she does that all the time. And I've sort of tangentially been around. She's been wanting me to sing a song with her since we met.
Do it, dude.
And I never want to, because again,
that's major brownie points.
This is like the part of me that, like, I'm totally fine putting out my video work and my editing work but I don't have confidence in myself as a singer or a musician.
Like, confidence in that sort of thing, it comes from putting it out and getting some good feedback. Like, I still hate I hate a lot, like every single album I've put out, like there's things I hate about it, but like the more you do, I know that they've gotten better over time.
Yeah.
And it's just like you have to hear like some people be like, "Wow, this is pretty great. I could never do something like that."
What did
And
Holly
that's
say
basically
about it?
what it is.
Yeah.
Like we both, I think Brent and I are both like, we could never write a whole rap album,
Right. Exactly.
let alone
dude.
record it and
Exactly.
put it out. Like, so the fact that you're already like in the top 1%
Right.
I
of
was
people
impressed.
on the planet.
I just thought he
that
had
do
one
this.
song. I thought he had one song, and I was impressed. A
No,
whole
yeah,
album.
Look, it's
album
bad.
and a half.
I think it's horrible. I think when I hear it, I think it's horrible. Holly heard it and she was like, "But you were 12." Like, so,
Of course.
you know, she was like, but I'm like, but there's 12-year-olds right now who are playing Mozart and Beethoven. Like,
Yeah,
that's,
but you're not Mozart.
you know,
That's just
Comparison
that's like the
is-
0.1%er. You know.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think my flow was weak. Maybe the fact that I actually put together that many different songs and I recorded them live
Mhm.
in one take. Okay, I'll give you that. That was probably something. But some kids are doing crazy shit now with computers and, way, I mean, this is low level talent, in my opinion. That's just,
I'm gonna need to hear it.
yeah. All right. Well, we can save that for another episode. That'll be
I'm gonna bug you so.
you're gonna
much.
bug me now.
I was about to say, there's going to be this thing hanging over our friendship until
so much, dude.
so this album comes to light. I just
It's gonna drive all of our listeners insane.
All of them. Yeah,
all of them.
they're
They're
just
just
gonna be
gonna
like,
leave,
"Where's
like
D-Rap?"
sending you messages.
Yeah. Yeah.
Your
No.
family know about this?
oh,
What's that?
Man.
Your family knows?
Oh yeah, they knew about it.
Okay.
They probably tried to forget it actually.
Does it
'cause,
feel
I
like a
mean,
weight's been lifted?
They no longer have to carry the burden, the secret
Right.
of knowing
Yeah.
that Bruce Wayne is Batman.
That's right.
It's like, oh, finally.
Wait, Robi was
Yeah.
D-Rap all this time?
All this time, dude.
I keep thinking of that scene in Dark Knight where the Joker has the guy kidnap the guy that was dressing as Batman. He's like, this happens every night until Batman comes clean or someone's going to die.
Yeah.
Starting tonight. I'm a man of my word.
Yeah. Start kidnapping bad
We're gonna
rappers
start.
and until D-Rap reveals his album. One
it's
bad
like-
rapper.
Because you're an introvert, especially when you were younger, it was much more stronger.
Yes.
Do you like have anxiety thinking about having to perform? Or was it just like your little secret?
It was my little secret.
Like,
I mean,
you
it
would
wasn't
there was no like dream of
No. Look,
let me actually do this.
you know what it was? It was just a continuation of what I always did. When I read a good book, I would want to
Yeah.
write a book. When I watched a great movie, I would want to go act that movie out. Before I even had a camera, I wanted to go act that movie out in my backyard.
Yeah.
And so when I heard a great song, I would want to go and I would grab the keyboard and I would try to play it. And I mean, dude, I learned the theme to MacGyver. I learned the theme, like I would learn
Nice.
like movie scores, like
Yeah.
just hunting and pecking on the keyboard. Like I could never play chords, I didn't get that far,
Mhm.
but I could find the notes and be like, oh, this is Last of the Mohicans. This is, whatever.
Yeah.
And so that's what I would do. And so that's what this was. It was just kind of, that's how my brain worked. When I was inspired by something, I wanted to go try to do it myself.
That's cool. Yeah.
And so when I heard E-Rock in my church, and he had dancers and stuff on the stage,
Yeah.
like choreographed dancers and everything. Listen to the G-O-D. And I was like, I want to listen to the G-O-D too. Like, so I went home and I started with like, I'm writing
Yeah.
a damn rap album, man. Let's do this. And that's how it happened. Because I think that's just how
Nice.
my brain works.
Yeah.
That's
That's
so
awesome.
cool,
I
man.
love it. I love it.
It's so cool.
Yes. So that'll be the big reveal. I'll try
It's
to
funny, like the amount of pressure you have to put on yourself to prepare something to say and then hit record and get it all right and
Yes.
then have it done.
Uh-huh.
That is really not even an introvert thing. I mean, but you have like a no stakes environment.
Yes.
It's like stakes without stakes. You have the stakes of getting the take right, but you can
Yep.
Yeah.
do it again. And that's really all it is. It's just like these like, I don't know. I think when you make an album of any kind, I just think it's fascinating. And now you were probably benefited from not having all this extra technology
Of course, yeah.
now, because you have like fewer steps to take and
Mhm.
fewer. You
Yeah.
didn't have to mix and master.
Yeah, and all I had was
Compression.
all I had was this one tool. I had this keyboard. There were songs that have little melodies that I wrote in addition to
Yeah.
the preset song, you know. So, yeah, I'm gonna try to find it. I'll we're not gonna ever play like a full song or anything, but I may if
No,
I
I
can
want to listen to the whole album, like start to finish.
Just whatever you're comfortable sharing. But I think
No,
some
I'm not
type of
stopping
share.
at your comfortability. No,
You need to get out of your
thing.
comfort zone, damn it.
yeah, yeah.
You need to throw your 12-year-old album out there for all to hear.
Classic.
Man,
Yeah. And on that note,
good game.
we did an hour.
Good game.
Thanks for listening to The Introverse. New episodes every Monday, wherever the podcasts roam. Catch us on our YouTube channel at Introverse Pod. The Introverse is a part of the Introverse Podcast Network.